But don't even think about changing the channels, because you'll miss a stage show that'll top any Headbangers concert you've ever seen. A 1, and a 2, and a... Wow, great stage show, dudes!
I thought it was all part of the show. Since everybody fell in such a uniform manner, it seemed to me that it had all been rehearsed.
Wrong concert, buddy. This one rocks. Another look in slow motion. There's more than 200 choir members belting out the Brazilian national anthem when the stage collapses under their weight and drop into a giant Brazilian mosh pit. 43 people were injured, but it could have been a lot worse. No one was killed. The other cool thing? The classical concert was canceled, dude! Rock and roll! Party on, dudes! It's an outdoor rock concert in Santiago, Chile. Hey, I can't see from my 4,000 peso seat. Let's climb the light tower and get a better view, dude! Wow, pile on! All they got up here are a couple of spotlights. There's plenty of room, dude! Wow, hold on tight! Wire snaps, sparks fly, and there's people in danger of being fried. But you gotta love the band. They just keep on a-rockin'. Here's that collapse in slow motion. Check out the roadies. These guys are so clueless, they never once try to stop all the fans from climbing the light tower. Down they go. This could have been really bad, but amazingly, no one was seriously injured. Probably because they got thick skulls from all that head banging. Hey, sports fans! Check out the Costa Rican version of the wave. This is called the avalanche. It's done at every soccer match. Thousands of fans rush the front row at the same time. Uh-oh, we can't stop! This isn't exactly how the avalanche is supposed to be done. Again, slower and closer. Keep your eyes on these guys and how close they come to being flattened. That's just inches away from some serious head cracking. 36 fans ate it, but they all made it. None were hurt seriously. Maybe that avalanche thing ain't such a good idea. Max X, we got the 411 on disaster fun. Up next, Choo Choo Go Splash. The white zone is for running over people only. All right, everybody out of the pool. That ain't no landing strip, it's a schoolyard. Crane plus bus equals disaster. And Murphy's Law, what can go wrong will go wrong. If you think that's just plain horrible, you'll want to hang around for our Max X list of It Could Have Been Worse. It's maximum exposure, making fine television since 2000. You're back on Max X with disasters that could have been worse. This is one foul mess left behind by Hurricane Danny in Charlotte, North Carolina. But it's gonna get a lot more foul. A 90-car train stalled and is trapped on the tracks. Hey, it gets worse. The locomotive is stuck on a tiny bridge above a river, and the rapidly rising floodwaters are eating away at the supports. What do? You sweat it out. But this ain't looking good. The thin iron rails are starting to bow under the tremendous weight of the train. 150 tons of diesel-powered steel is gonna eat it, and eat it big time. Again, slower and closer this time. The tracks snap, and the train falls about 20 feet into the rushing waters. If that weren't bad enough, it dumps 2,000 gallons of diesel fuel into the river. This could have been a heck of a lot worse. Amazingly, no other train cars were pulled in, and no one was hurt. Making those vacation plans? All aboard. First stop, the Little Sugar Creek. jaw-dropping footage all the way from Russia can be summed up in one word: sinkhole. Okay, 2 words: gnarly sinkhole. Okay, 3 words: gnarly sinkhole. The 4 best words of all: no one got hurt. Okay, so these refugees fleeing Haiti for the U.S. didn't expect a luxury cruise line. But they also weren't counting on 270 of them being packed in a 40-foot sailboat. This old junker ain't never gonna make it to shore. They're trapped at sea. But the Coast Guard comes to the rescue. They toss life jackets to all the refugees, and it looks like everyone's gonna be saved. The Coast Guard cutter pulls up alongside the boat, and it starts pulling people to safety one at a time. But the people on the boat are scared. They want off, and they want off now. They rush toward the ropes. Now there's way too much weight on one side. The boat tips over and starts to sink. It's a mini Titanic. Man overboard, 270 of them. Bodies everywhere. People slipping out of their life vests. People fighting for their lives. This is an ugly scene. Incredibly, the Coast Guard manages to save all of the refugees except for 2. This could have been a major disaster. Let's hear it for the Coast Guard, huh? These guys save a lot of lives. A disaster in Argentina, but it gets worse. That gaping hole is where a bus plowed through a guardrail and plunged into a river below. 12 people were on board, no survivors. Workers tie a steel cable around the bus. Up on the bridge, a cable operator is awaiting word to start lifting. He's got the entire bus hoisted far enough out of the water so they can search for victims. Suddenly it happens. Something that makes you real glad you ain't driving the crane. Here's a wider angle. The bus is dangling from the crane when the weight shifts and it starts sinking, and it takes the 28-ton crane down with it. Again in slow motion. Watch as the crane comes crashing down. It looks like it lands right on top of the rescue boat in the water. Somehow the boat managed to escape. What about the driver of the crane? Crushed? No, this dude lived.
My partner was shouting for me to jump because the crane was falling, but I didn't want to. I was trying to stop the crane from going over, but I wasn't able to stop it, so at the last second I jumped face down onto the pavement.
Jose wasn't injured, but the crane was a total loss. Bogota, Colombia. A race called the Twingo Cup. Heavy rain makes driving fast cars a really bad idea. So they suspend the race. And that's when someone gets hurt. A car cruises into the pit area. There's a photographer standing in the car's path. Edgar Espina gets nailed. He's not moving. Let's see what happened. The car's windshield wipers aren't working, so the driver can't see Edgar. Now Edgar's taking a picture of the yellow car, so he isn't paying attention either. The car doesn't even slow down. With broken teeth and a broken collarbone, Edgar recovers at a hospital.
Imprevisión, error mecánico, lo que sea, pero es cuestión de automovilismo y dentro del autódromo cualquier cosa puede parar.
Lucky Edgar lives to shoot another day. We've got more stuff crashing on Maximum Exposure. Next, landing nose first. The walls keep tumbling down. This is what you get for defying the laws of physics. Innocent bystanders ain't standing no more. We put the pyro in Pyromania in our Max X list of It Could Have Been Worse. Oh yeah, you're feeling it. Maximum exposure. Max X is back. This is a crowded schoolyard in Steely Lake, Montana. Kids are waiting for a plane to bring them some surprises. Here it comes, and it's going down. Why's a plane flying this close to kids? It's part of the town's 4th of July celebration. You got your horses, you got your band, you even got your Shriners. It doesn't get any more all-American than this. The highlight was supposed to be the one-plane air show. Yeah, it was a highlight, all right. All the pilot had to do was pass over the playground and drop a bunch of ping pong balls redeemable for prizes. Instead, he dropped the whole plane. Here it is again, slower. Cindy Carlson was dressed as a clown that day.
Something sounded different in the plane, and as I looked up, he was turning to make the last pass. When I looked at him, I just knew, and I told my helpers in the tennis court to get the kids out, he was going to crash. As he was getting closer, you could see a very strained look on his face. You could see that he was trying to land in the best place. There was a lot of people there and a lot of kids, and he steered right to the only place that was empty and safe.
It could have been so much worse. Not a single person on the ground was hurt. What about the pilot?
He died on impact.
But he died a hero. Take it from Clown Cindy.
In my eyes and my heart, he will always be a hero. He did what he thought was right and gave up his life for the life of the children and all those people that were there.
This is Buenos Aires, Argentina, the tourist knows. And this is Buenos Aires, the terrorist knows. A terrorist group has just bombed a downtown high-rise office building. Rescuers rush to help, but the building is still a death trap.
When I was exiting, I noticed that a lot of debris was falling. Some of it fell right on top of my helmet.
Firefighters are searching the wreckage for victims, and they're about to become victims themselves.
Each time I looked up, I realized that a greater amount of debris was coming down. Then a noise was heard, and it was as if something was falling. At that very moment, the wall collapsed.
Terrible, por Dios. Terrible. Lo que ha sucedido, terrible.
Again. These guys never saw it coming. One moment they're doing their job, and the next they're fighting to stay alive.
Before I could do anything, I realized the wall was crumbling. It was impossible to do anything different. The only thing I wanted to do was get out and save my own life.
Terrible, por Dios. Terrible.
Again, slower and closer. When the wall starts to go, these guys right here are in deep trouble. They split as fast as they can, and it looks like they're trying to outrun an avalanche. Watch this guy get hammered. Ouch! The collapse just smokes the place in dust. This really could have been worse. Amazingly, none of the firefighters were seriously hurt.
7 miles from the scene, I already knew it was a major incident.
Major, as in a gasoline tanker slammed into a bridge support beam. There's fire and smoke everywhere.
You're worrying about the other officers that are there, who else may have been involved in the accident. Are you going to be able to assess them, or can you even assess them?
Scott's a volunteer firefighter. He tosses on his gear and joins the others at the front lines. His dash cam keeps rolling. Here's the scene. Cars and trucks trapped. Hundreds of gallons of fuel pouring out of the tanker, and firefighters losing the battle to save the bridge.
And the incident commander had moved everybody back. There was really nothing you could do.
The bridge is about to eat it.
That was the most fire I'd ever seen.
Here it is again, slower.
You knew it was going to happen, so you were ready for it, but you still couldn't be ready for the scene that happened afterwards. The explosion that was tremendous.
The truck driver died in the crash, but it could have been a lot worse. Hundreds of others were near the blast, and no one else was injured or killed. Speedway sprint car racing in Auckland, New Zealand. Cars are tearing up the track. They're also tearing up the spectators. This has to be seen in slow motion. A car comes skidding around the curb when it's sideswiped. It goes end over end. The car breaks up and chunks of metal hurl towards the stands. That smoking object right there, it's the car's fuel tank, and it slams into the crowd. Again at regular speed. And let's just listen to the crash. This could have easily claimed some lives. Amazingly, the worst injury was a broken leg suffered by one of the fans. Even the driver made it. He got away with only some minor bruises and scratches. We're the masters of disaster, Max X. Coming up, hell in a helicopter. Hey, if that's a stealth fighter, how come I can see it fall apart? A Max X Catastrophe Classic. If that ain't twisted enough for you, stick around for our Max X list of It Could Have Been Worse. Max X, TV for party people. It's maximum exposure, taking it to the max.
Here they come. Good morning.
Not for long.
Take a nice picture.
Folks in Milwaukee just love the sight of a helicopter carrying a 2,000-pound air conditioning unit. But hey, who doesn't? The pilot's trying to place the unit on the roof of a 25-story apartment building. He has to be real careful. If this is one load you don't want to get away from you. Dude, that don't look good. That really don't look good. Now he really don't look good.
Motioned that he was going to drop his load. So he turned the load loose, and for some reason, I followed the load down and watched it just demolish the carport.
Amazingly, this was the first time Sue had ever used her video camera.
The plane looked fairly intact, but we were all waiting to see what had happened to him. We could see his helmet fall out of the plane, and then the rescue squad got there and helped him out, and we saw he was alive.
Ben Moore knew he was going down and had to steer the chopper away from the people and the building.
The first time I saw it happen and saw the aircraft crash, I thought, no one could walk away from that. Then I realized, well, I did. And every time I see it now, I wince because I think, oh, that hurt.
So if you're one of those callous sophisticates who thinks Milwaukee's nothing but beer-drinking, bratwurst-eating cheeseheads, hey, there's air conditioners falling and helicopters crashing too. Hey, you got great hardware? Why not show it off? That's a stealth fighter. About umpteen $1 million worth of jet, entertaining crowds at an air show. This war machine is state-of-the-art, nearly impossible to destroy. Well, unless it just falls apart. The plane and its pilot are gonna eat it. moments before the stealth slams into the ground, the pilot ejects. That's the good news. The bad news is that fighter jet just crashed into a neighborhood of homes.
So I picked up the camcorder and, I started taping it because, I knew it was like a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Darn right. It's not every day a stealth fighter lands in your backyard. Heck with a plane, where's the pilot? There.
And I noticed out of the corner of my eye, I saw the pilot come down, and naturally I turned the camcorder towards him and got him as he was coming down. Now I hoped and prayed that the pilot was okay.
Pilot was fine. Plane was a total loss. Here's the crash in slow motion and frame by frame. Everything seems fine until right here. A piece of the tail section cracks off. The jet nosedives. And then just a few hundred feet off the ground, right here, that little explosion is the pilot ejecting. And right here, this is the pilot. Now get a load of what brought down the world's most advanced jet fighter. A missing bolt.
Oh my God.
And some stealth fighter mechanics probably flipping burgers somewhere. Dumb does not have an expiration date. And here's one from the Dumb as a Box of Rocks archives. This was some designer's idea of a high-tech suspension bridge in 1940. It was built in Washington. Check out how much it sways in the wind. Try passing a field sobriety test on this road. It was designed to rock and roll so it could withstand the strong winds that blow through this area. And they got that part right. It rocks. One day, 40-mile-an-hour winds closed the bridge, trapping this car. The driver gets off of that bridge in a hurry. The bridge sways violently. Watch what happens next. A major portion of the bridge collapses. Hey, nice design, buddy. Here it is again, slower. Look how much that road is moving. The structure can't handle it, and the bridge just crumbles. The bridge was trashed and a new one was built. One that doesn't do nothing about rock and roll.
A new landmark rises on the Stockton waterfront. I'm Craig Prosser with the story just ahead on the news at 6.
What do you do on a slow news day in Stockton, California? You go videotape a crew putting up a tent for the Beach Boys concert.
I want that one grip hoist freed up.
Reporter Craig Prosser was coasting through his news story when he knew it became a story.
The first inkling I had is when a guy cable next to me started to move strangely, but it caused me to look up.
Let me see what's happening here.
When I looked up, I sensed that something was wrong.
Yeah, big time. The tent is crashing, and cameraman Richard Villegas is worried.
I was telling him to get out of my shot and telling him to get out of the way at the same time, because I saw him through the lens, and everything was falling down behind him.
Craig splits. The tent collapses, and a sport utility vehicle used to anchor the cable is hurled through the air.
I saw that sport utility van go leaping into the air. It seemed like it was 20 feet off the ground, and then it, of course, crashed in a heap.
End of story? Nah, there's still a 12,000-pound pole that hasn't fallen. Here it is again in real speed. Watch and listen.
Guardian angel tapped me on the shoulder, said look up, and I looked up and there was this pole. It was just like shaking, and I just took off running toward the river.
To actually see this happen, to have a camera rolling and capture this, and for no one to have been hurt, it's just amazing.
Quit your whining. We'll be back with our Max X list of It Could Have Been Worse. We're back! It Could Have Been Worse is about to dish out its best. It's Max X List time. Number 3. Santiago, Chile. Someone forgot to read the warning on the paint can label. Don't store near open flames, or you're gonna get some really nasty explosions. This is a paint factory, or should we say it was. 50,000 gallons of the flammable stuff was stored inside this warehouse. More than 700 firefighters are battling this blaze from the air and the ground. And there ain't no way they're gonna save this place. How about some close-ups for the Santiago Gazette? Maybe not. Again, slower. It's raining scorching metal. That's a big chunk of building rocketing through the sky. This fire raged on for 15 hours. In the end, the entire building was destroyed. But you can't take away the memories of some really smoking explosions. Number 2 on the It Could Have Been Worse X list. There goes the neighborhood. What we got here is a plumbing problem. No, not that kind of plumbing problem. Massive runoff from heavy rains has washed away the bottom of this mansion. And it's gonna get a lot worse.
All of a sudden the TV flashes on. And my wife was in the bedroom at the time, said, look, it's the Billman's house. And I said, what's wrong with the Billman's house? And she said, they're saying it's going to fall. And I ran upstairs to our third floor and looked out the window. And I remember yelling to her, there's nothing wrong with the Billman house. It's still, and I think as I got to the word still, disbelief, really, more than anything. You want to turn off what you're actually seeing, but you can't.
Yeah, you might want to turn it off, Andre, but we'd like to see it again, slower.
There was no noise until it hit the ground. There was just the sort of a swish and then the crash.
For sale, one fixer-upper. Just needs a little TLC. And the X-List topper for the It Could Have Been Worse award comes from the battlefields of Desert Storm. We all know that the United States kicked limited butt in the Iraqi war. But there was another casualty. Before they were driven out of Kuwait, the Iraqi army blew up 700 oil wells. Fires raged. 5 million barrels of crude oil burned out of control daily. The worst eco-crime in history was turning these rich oil fields into a charred wasteland. What to do? Call in the troops. The Boots and Coots oil well firefighting troops.
I figured it kind of looked like hell, and that's what it looked like when we got there.
It's noon out there. High noon for these flame-stomping firefighters. Best estimate? Maybe 10 years to put out these infernos. Well, till them Texans showed up. Armed with tractors, seawater, dirt, and boxes of TNT, these fire brawlers go to work.
It was just fire everywhere, smoke you couldn't see. Sounded like about 100 jets taking off at any one time all day long.
Flames shot 2,500 feet up into the air. Temperatures reached 2,000 degrees. They'd hit the flames with water, shove 250 sticks of dynamite in a barrel, ram it down the mouth of a burning oil well, and literally blow out the flames. The firefighters' motto, one well at a time.
It's what you go out to do, and you know you're going to do it. but still, when it's done, it's not relief. It's more like, you know, you kill the monster.
Amazingly, this monster was killed in just 9 months. Slaughtered by the soldiers of fire. This eco-disaster could have been a hell of a lot worse, but Texans rule. That's maximum exposure. It could have been worse, right? Right. We're out.